Do not try and bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth. There is no spoon. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Folks, today we're talking about Galactic Legends and which one we should farm first. We're going to talk about farming order and the merits of which Galactic Legends to approach. Because here's the thing: I made a video about this a couple months ago, and it was a good list. I feel like it was solid because it backed up a lot of the different ideologies that I was espousing in approaching this game in a GAC kind of oriented way, but things have changed significantly. GAC is the primary way to earn crystals now, and you also don't have matchup GP, which was the huge thing that I was trying to kind of tame, if you will. You're trying to make it so that you could actually get matchups that were more favorable to you, so you could get better rewards and everything. And now that gaming the system has been turned on its head, it doesn't work anymore, at least not that methodology. We're going to need Galactic Legends sooner than I had previously planned on, and so we're going to talk about all of that and which characters are going to be more necessary first, and which ones can wait for a little bit. So before we jump in, I do want to just remind you guys, if you want to support the channel for free, all you've got to do is hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment in the comments area, or either one is great. Both would be so amazing, and I would really appreciate that. We're trying to mount the algorithm, and it's a group effort. The mounting is a group, as a group has been really successful lately, guys. I just have to say thank you so much for your help. This channel's getting big enough that we're actually starting to show up as suggestions on other people's feeds. I've even had some people from other games mentioned to me that my videos were showing up there, which that's pretty rare, I think, still, but it's still really cool progress to make. And we're trying to get to 9,000 by the end of the year. If we could get to 10,000, that would be so awesome. And we would try to do some kind of a perk. I don't know, I'd have to think about it, but we have to get like 70 every day if we want to get to that 10K mark by the end of the year. I don't know if it's possible. I would appreciate help with that, though, too. If you guys wanted to tell your friends, or just sub with your wife's account or something random like that, that also helps the algorithm and said mounting of it. So that being said, let's stop talking about this and start talking about Galactic Legends. We only have 6. We also have Executor, which is basically a ship. It's basically a ship, guys. If you didn't know, Executor is a ship, as my 3-year-old would say. And if you know, now you don't know. Whatever that means. You guys didn't know that. You thought you did, but now you don't know. So let's talk about these Galactic Legends and Executor as the Galactic Legend ship. I haven't included where exactly to add Executor yet. I'm up in the air. I think we'll look at that in a minute. But for now, let's talk about the requirements, because this is really important. You see, I used this infographic last time, if you can call it an infographic. I feel like infographics are actually fancy. This one's pretty ghetto, but this does outline how expensive it is to get each Galactic Legend, and it gives us a fair approximation of what amount of effort it takes. Now, it doesn't say what the requirements are, and in some cases it's pretty prohibitive. Like, for instance, Jedi Master Luke requires a ton of unlock characters himself, and therefore, like, he needs Jedi Knight Luke. Jedi Knight Luke in turn needs a ton of Relic 3 characters, including Wampa and Captain Han Solo, etc., that are not requirements for Jedi Master Luke. And so it says 67 relics for him, but he doesn't have he he also has a bunch of other relics that are kind of hidden beneath the surface. So this list doesn't necessarily list that. Jedi Master Kenobi needs Wat, which is a pretty tricky thing to unlock. I've been playing Prevail Man for over a year now, and he still doesn't have a 7-star Wat, which maybe I'm in an underachieving guild in that regard, but at the same time, Kenobi's not necessarily going to be that easy. Not only are his relic requirements expensive, but his Watt requirement is also very tough. But you can see Supreme Leader Kylo and Rey both need 60-ish relics, and then only 3 relic 7s. Jedi Master Luke and Sith Eternal are the next in that tier, and Sith Eternal is noticeably more expensive than Jedi Master Luke. He needs 5 relic 7s as opposed to 3 for Jedi Master Luke. However, keep in mind that Jedi Master Luke is the guy who requires a whole lot of characters beneath the surface. He requires more than anyone else, to be honest, as far as that goes. In terms of total characters that are required to be farmed for him, it's a pretty gross number, actually. So Jedi Master Kenobi and Lord Vader, of course, round us out at the top. And Kenobi takes significantly fewer requirements than even Lord Vader, even though it's Relic 8. 2 Relic 8 versus 4 Relic 8. That is an enormous difference. Not to mention, Lord Vader also has a super prohibitive amount of gear that you have to apply. Like Bad Batch are so ludicrous in terms of gear. You need all the Kyrotech, you need all kinds of crazy messed up stuff, guys. So I would highly recommend not getting Lord Vader right away, because you can actually wail on him if you wanted to. If you very first started, you can kind of buy him, but holy balls, it's expensive, guys. It's too expensive, prohibitively expensive. Let's go look at the game, and we'll talk a little bit more about my farming strategy, though. Whoa, I didn't realize we would be in the game. Madness. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. We need a quick Galactic Legend. We need it needs to be quick, and you can see I even went through the trouble of choosing one, of reading the thing that I wrote, of actually changing the name of the squad, which says choose one, and then right after that it says after first or second, because I apparently ran out of digits or of letters that I was allowed to add. So second, first or second. Stupid. Okay, here's the thing. Sith Eternal Emperor is more expensive and more difficult to get than Rey. However, he is also just really good, and he fits kind of this category of you don't absolutely need him in your roster, but he is very handy to have early on. He is going to be able to counter 4 of the Galactic Legends. He doesn't counter Lord Vader, and he doesn't counter Supreme Leader Kylo, at least not that effectively. There are ways you can kind of make him a little bit effective against Supreme Leader Kylo if you take enough tanks and all this stuff, but it's not that effective or consistent, and I don't know, he only needs to kill, Backpack Boy only needs to kill about 4. The thing that's nice about him is if you are also working on the Jedi Master Luke requirements in the background, he will also provide you a counter to Supreme Leader Kylo in the form of the Jedi Revan, Jedi Knight Luke composition. So he kind of complements other teams really well, and the awesome thing I love about Sith Eternal is a lot of his characters are very usable as an unlock, but he also is a character that is his own team, basically. He needs a babysitter sometimes you need Wat, or you need the armor, or sometimes, rarely, you need both, but for the most part, he is just kind of self-sufficient. When you get him as a Galactic Legend, you don't have to say like, oh no, now I don't have X team. Like Jedi Master Kenobi does that exact thing. He just makes you sad because he steals a Padme team, and Padme just dies of sadness on her own. So we have Sith Eternal Emperor. He is very good. Rey is also really good. She will actually counter if you have Commander Ahsoka Tano, which is Cat. If you have Cat, then it's going to be even better, even easier. If you don't have Cat, then there are a few counters that you can't win. But Rey can do a lot of really cool stuff. She needs some pretty top tier Jedi to do a lot of that stuff, to be able to take out other galactic legends. And I think that that's my biggest hesitation, guys, is if you farm Rey up, it's great. You get Holdo, and you get the Radis and everything. You get a few pretty usable characters. You get at least one pretty usable team. But the problem is with Rey that after that, like, Radis isn't exactly the pinnacle of ships. It's nice to have her as a capital ship, but she's not the pinnacle. Rey is also, whereas she's very flexible and can beat every galactic legend, including Lord Vader, she is also to the point of, at the point of just not being able to function against some of these squads without Cat or some of these really high-end Jedi. And so if you farm Rey, you also probably are going to require some of these high-end Jedi as well, and it can lead to disaster, I guess, if you're counting on her to counter everything else, and then you realize you need, like, General Skywalker sometimes, or Jedi Knight Luke, or Commander Ahsoka Tano, who is not a Jedi, but all of these things, she needs that help. So I would recommend going for one of these characters and then kind of just leaving the other off to the side. Just maybe no plan on farming him for a while, because we need to be working on other things. Jedi Master Luke, in my opinion, should be either the first or second. You could get Sith Eternal and Rey. They probably work decently as a tandem, and Rey is fairly cheap to get and everything. But then after you get Sith Eternal and or Rey, I would recommend working on Jedi Master Luke. And Jedi Master Luke is awesome because he'll take everything out at Relic 9. Him and his ice cream sandwich are going to demolish everything. If you have the good Jedi worked up, which you probably do, because you've been working on stuff, because you've been working on Jedi Knight Luke as a requirement, he's going to be just fine, because he'll go with Luke. Luke will always be Relic 7 because he was a requirement at Relic 7 for Jedi Master Luke. And so he's kind of more naturally a natural born leader of Jedi, which is actually not something I would say, because in the movies, the one attempt at leadership he actually has, he just fails utterly with the growth of the temple and then trying to kill his nephew. So I don't know. Jedi Master Luke, not necessarily a leader, but he's kind of a grump face. It's like he still has black facial hair. It's weird, but we're totally going off on a tangent. So here's the thing, though, folks. He is an amazing character. You need high-end Jedi to go with him, but for the most part, those Jedi aren't going to be unreachable because you already have him and you've kind of approached it. He was my number one pick in my last video because he takes so long to farm, because so many other characters need him. Jedi Knight Luke is a grind, and then you need like 3PO, you need all kinds of characters. You need R2-D2, who in turn, the unlock for him requires Empire. Ewoks require C-3PO requires Ewoks, etc. It takes a really long time to gear, and my rationale back then was you can wait. You can just hang out and wait. As long as you keep your relic levels low, then you can do whatever you need to do, whatever you want to do in terms of Galactic Legends. You don't need one right away. You could mess with your GP or with your matchup GP, and you could find ways to win. So now, I don't think that that's the way to do it, guys. I think you need a Galactic Legend early on, and that's why he is not a good target. He takes so much time and effort to get him to a point, to even unlock him. It just takes too much time, and if you waste that much time, you're going to start getting matched up with Galactic Legends and lose. He is a great character. He'll beat every single other Galactic Legend except for potentially Sith Eternal, though actually if he goes first and can get that stun on, or that ability block on Sith Eternal right away, it can work. It can kind of work. I don't know. He's pretty good. Jedi Master Luke is just really good. So I would love him in terms of overall effectiveness and just kind of cost. He's probably the best first candidate, but in terms of how long it's going to take you to actually get him, he's kind of come up as third, in my opinion. So get Sith Eternal, or get Rey, or get both if you really want to, and the whole time be working on getting your Jedi Master Luke, because he'll beat everything for you. Next is going to be General Kenobi or Lord Vader. I would go for Kenobi because at this point, once you have all these other GLs, you probably have a 7-star. You probably have a 7-star Watt, in which case you can unlock Jedi Master Kenobi. So, and his Vractal. Did you guys know this was called a Vractal? I'm sure some of you did, but he's pretty cool. My sons are obsessed with Vractals, so you'll have that. Anyways, Jedi Master Kenobi is the best we currently have. He's better than Lord Vader, in my opinion. He does kind of rely on Cat a little bit to kind of make things work for him, but he is just good on his own. He'll beat all the other Galactic Legends. Bar none, he is just really good, and Cat, of course, makes him better. He's also not that bad. Like, most of his requirements are pretty reasonable in terms of gear and usability. There's not much that you don't use. You use the whole buffalo, so to speak. It's pretty nice, actually. It is good. Lord Vader is also actually very good. There are a couple problems with him, though. First off, you want Maul. He wants Maul to hang out with him, at least some. He doesn't necessarily need Maul to counter some of this stuff, but he's one of those slow burn characters on attacks where, unless you're in Conquest and you just evaporate a whole team with an AoE because it does a couple debuffs, and those debuffs kind of cause a cascading effect, if that doesn't happen, it takes him a while for him to take people out. He also benefits directly from having a ton of relics on all of his team. And it's not just Relic 8 on him. You also want Relic 8 on the rest of your team, and eventually Relic 9, because that determines how strong he gets over time with his ultimate, and that's what determines your overall victory. So on offense, he can be really effective. On defense, he can be really effective. But he is so expensive. He needs the most gear. He needs the most cost prohibitive squad out there, which is Bad Batch. He needs a lot of love and patience from us, because a ton of people say he's the most disappointing character ever. I tend to think that he is a little disappointing as well once you take Maul out of the equation. And once you put Maul into the equation, I realize that pretty small number of people actually have Lord Vader plus Maul. Of course, I face all those people all the time because I have a whale account, and they have Kraken accounts, and so they're, everyone's spending money, and it's a big mess. But Lord Vader is just very tough to access in a really meaningful way. You want Maul to go with him, or you want Maul to lead the Mandalorians, who, make up your mind. And if you don't have Maul with him, what does he actually accomplish? Does he just sit there on defense? He isn't just. There's a lot of question marks regarding him right now, and I don't know. It's okay. He does fine. It's just, what do we do with him right now? He's in a very strange place, in my opinion. Next up is General Kenobi. Let's talk about him again. The final one, folks, and this makes me really sad. A lot of people tell me that you should get Supreme Leader Kylo Ren right away, and here's the thing. People say that we should take other game modes into consideration, and that's fair enough. But all the Galactic Legends have really good utility in Conquest, which is the only one that really matters besides GAC at this point. And Kylo does fine. He's kind of a step behind in territory battles. All the other Galactic Legends easily go 404. He sometimes goes 404. The biggest thing for him, though, is he solos the Sith raid relatively easily, and he's fairly cheap. And those two things go really well for him. And if you just really, really have the burning desire to be able to solo the Sith raid, then more power to you. The devs are working on a way to sim that raid as well, and after which case his utility goes down another notch after that too. He's barely a Galactic Legend. We will counter Lord Vader, actually. I think that's my favorite counter of his, but it's still a little dicey and expensive, depending on if old Daka dies, etc. And You're also using a lot of other good utility characters, but he's okay. Kylo's okay. He's just okay. I don't know. He's barely a Galactic Legend, guys. He does beat Rey teams usually, unless it's a really good build, or he will beat General Skywalker team, assuming he knows what he's doing. Oh, that's not even a Galactic Legend. What else does he beat? Lord Vader. He's a struggle bus right now, guys. I think he's at the very, very last part of my list to unlock. He's still good. He's just, a lot of people will put all of the best characters that support him on defense on a team with like crew lead, and they just use him to like solo a team. Which, I mean, I get it. 64 is nice, but at 63 most likely. But I don't know. It just kind of sits wrong with me to use a Galactic Legend for that. Like, why are you expending that many resources? Because it wasn't probably worth it to put all that gear on Phasma unless you have a really good Galactic Legend to pay, or to make it all worthwhile. So that's my list, guys. I would say in general the priorities go Sith Eternal and Rey go kind of first because they're easier to get. Jedi Master Luke takes a while to get, but you should be working on his unlock requirements throughout the game, and you should try to work on him kind of as quickly as you can, if you can. He's also tough to get because getting Wampa shards and getting Rolo shards and everything can be very difficult as well, and I recognize that. So if you need to skip him, that's fine, but also you want Kenobi or Lord Vader. They are in the next tier, and Kenobi's a little bit ahead of him. And then finally, in the doghouse is Supreme Leader Kylo because he sucks. So that being said, let me know what your rankings are yourselves. I would love to hear what you guys think about what did I get wrong? What things did I miss? We can all learn from each other, and I learn things from you every day. So guys, I'm going to let you go. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.